Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Russell's Movie Reviews, the show where I have to review movies that you guys mostly suggest, but sometimes stuff that I just pick when no one really does anything about it, and I review mostly good stuff, but also maybe some bad stuff along the way. Today, it's certainly not going to be a bad movie. Today, we're going to be doing a very, very important movie from my childhood, which is kind of ironic since this film is like rated R. Um, so anyway, guys, so today we're gonna be reviewing The Hunt for Red October, released on March 7th of 1990. Directed by John McTiernan, who is more well known for his work on Predator and Die Hard, the first three films, and well, actually maybe just one and three, but I'm not sure. Um, having a budget of $30 million domestically, it made over $122 million, and worldwide it made over 200 million. And it has an all-star cast of Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, Sam Neill, and Tim Curry. Um, so let's get on to that plot, shall we? So the plot for Hunt for Red October is this is based on a famous Tom Clancy book. I believe it's of the same name. This suspenseful film tracks Soviet submarine captain Marco Ramis, played by the legendary Sean Connery, as he abandons his orders and heads for the east coast of the United States. Equipped with innovative stealth technology, Ramis' submarine, called the Red October, is virtually invisible. However, when an American sub briefly detects the Russians' presence, CIA agent Jack Ryan, played by Alec Baldwin, sets out to determine Ramis' motives, fearing he may launch an attack on the U.S. Now, I'm gonna say this right now. I love this movie. This is, like I said earlier, this is a important movie of my childhood, and um, it's strangely it was strange that I wasn't able to find this movie for a very long time. Obviously, not until I got the steelbook, which I will be talking about later, and I made a whole video about it. Um, and I've seen it once or twice before at a very young age, so I didn't really remember certain things about it. But I recently watched it back again, and my opinion hasn't changed. I still love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. Um, um, there's so many I probably this is the probably it is the only Jack Ryan movie that I've seen. I've heard of, Patriot Games, and the other films of the franchise, but in terms of actually watching them, this is the only one that I've actually sat down and watched, and it's probably for a good reason because I've heard some kind of reviews on it, mostly on um. I mostly just heard reviews on like the two films that came after this, after Hunt for Red October, which was like Patriot Games, and Clear Present Danger. Um, the other two that came out later, I never really heard anything, even though the last film that's been released in the Jack Ryan series had a starring role from Chris Pine, who obviously played Captain Kirk in the reboot Star Trek series. Um, but um, maybe it is a good reason that I've only seen Hunt for Red October, because this film is probably the best out of all the Jack Ryan movies, and It's very easy to see why. Because this film is absolutely fantastic. I'm very sorry about the glare on this. It's from the camera or the laptop screen so that you could see. But I just want. I guess that works. Um. So yeah, let's talk about the cast. So we got the fantastic Sean Connery as Marco Ramis, which I'm just gonna say right now, I think this has honestly the best ensemble cast for any film ever. Um, because like I said, you have Sean Connery, you have Alec Baldwin, you have Sam Neill, James Earl Jones, Tim Curry. You have like all of these great actors in this film that doesn't really get talked about a lot, and I think it's really a shame. Um, but Sean Connery, um, I think he does a very like any performance that he does is like you can't say that a performance by Sean Connery is bad. You may not like his accent so much, like trying to play um, someone with an Egyptian accent in Highlander or with like a New York kind of accent in The Untouchables. But this trying to play a Russian is very well done in this film, and I think it's a brilliant casting decision that they went with Sean Connery because um, he just plays it off so well. Um, it's unfortunate that he really doesn't make any movies anymore. Uh, I mean, it kind of makes sense, especially that he's very old now. Um, but by the time that, like, I think the last film that he did was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And that was like in 2006. So he's been not making movies for over a decade, which is very surprising. Um, we have Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. Um, Probably one of the better performances I've seen in uh, Alec Baldwin, because surprisingly, actually, the only thing I really kind of this is gonna sound so weird that I'm actually gonna say this. Um, the only thing I really actually heard Alec Baldwin from when I was very very young was the fifth and sixth season of Thomas and Friends. Yes, I was a very young child back in my youth, so Thomas and Friends was the bomb back then. But it was from the fifth and sixth seasons of Thomas and Friends, and obviously from Thomas and the Magic Road, which surprisingly is only recently getting a Blu-ray release. So that's a little odd, but glad that the Blu-ray is actually coming out. Um, and will I be picking that up? Of course. And will I be doing a review on it? Most likely. um, but in this film, Alec Baldwin does a fantastic performance in this Jack Ryan. Um, it kind of switches back and forth between both Alec Baldwin and Sean Connery, which is, um, I mean, it's kind of like it makes sense since Jack Ryan is like the CIA agent, was CIA agent, and then Sean Connery's the Russian, so you kind of have to get like both of their perspectives. But I thought um, a lot more of the film was gonna be, you know, like them together, but it's really only for like the last like 20 minutes of the film. Uh, but their chemistry when they do meet is very well done, and I appreciate that a lot. We have Scott Glenn as Bart Mas- Mancuso. Mancuso. Um, he's like kind of like basically the captain of the American submarine that takes both that it takes Jack Ryan to basically where Sean Connery is at. Um, but uh, compared to like the other like mainstream actors in the film, he kind of seemed very dulled down and not very um. Sorry about the yawning. Like compared to like the other actors, he just didn't seem like very um like as well known as the other actors, but he still pulls off a very good performance in this film. We have Sam Neill as Captain Vasil Brodin. Bro Broden. I'm not sure how you say that. Um, Actually, I'm gonna go learn how you say that right now. So I'll be back. So apparently his last name is Borodin. So Vasily Borodin. Um, who's basically like the second command, like first officer of the Red October. Uh, I recognize him from actually a few horror films, including the John Carpenter cult classic, In the Mouth of Madness, um, and The Memoirs of a Visible Man, and The Omen 3. He pulls off a very good performance in this film as well. Um, um, we have James Earl Jones as Admiral James Greer, who is more well known for. If I can get them out, and that who is more well known for playing Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy. Um, with the voice of Darth Vader, not actually playing him. He pulls up a very good performance as well, and I don't know what about him, but he has a very intimidating voice that, for the life of me, I do not understand how James Earl Jones can just pull off this like very intimidating voice, but also trying to be like a very nice person. I don't know how he does it, but he does it, which maybe that's why his kind of voice gets him cast mostly as villains. Uh, I mean besides Darth Vader, I know the most well known thing I knew James Earl Jones for before I watched this film, besides Star Wars, was the villain in Conan the Barbarian. Which will I be covering that film most likely since I have the sequel in my collection, and not the first one, which is sad. Um, we have Tim Curry as Doctor Pedro, because I'm not even gonna try and say his first name, but Doctor Pedro. He's barely in the film, which I was very surprised about that he was barely in the film. And if you guys actually remember all the way back in episode 2 of the movie review series, you guys may remember him as playing the Pennywise in Stephen King's It from 1990. Um, which now, actually, did I post that around Halloween? I'm not sure. I think, actually, I think that was my first kind of, um, like kind of Halloween special kind of thing. But anyway, um, yeah, he's barely in the film, but the screen time that he has is very, very good, and um, I just really wish he was in the movie a lot more than because I think he has a total of like maybe like 10, 15 minutes of screen. Actually, no, like 5 minutes of screen time. Cause he's like in the beginning scene when Ramus kills the commanding officer, like the admiral that comes on board. And he kills him and then covers it up as like, oh, like he slipped on the tea and killed himself. He's in that scene, and then he pops up way later as one of the crew members that was um left on board one of the submarines for safety. and like that's it. That's the last we see of him. Um, just really unfortunate that he kind of just he appears in like two scenes and then he's like out of the picture. Um, we have Kun Kunchni B Vance. I don't know how to say that first name as Seaman Jones. He's basically the one that basically was at the beginning picks up the Russian vessel, the Russian submarine before it kind of goes back into being quiet. Um, but uh, sorry, it's. I'll talk about more about this later, but it has the reason why I'm yawning because I keep on waking up really early, and I'll talk about that at the end of this video why that happens. But um, yeah, he's basically the one that picks up the submarine, the Red October at the beginning, and then he's put on the vessel with, and then when Jack Ryan appears, he comes with both Jack and Bart to the Russian submarine to, help them. Um, and we have a cameo appearance by Giggs McFadden, who, at this point, have was in the third season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, I believe. It was third or fourth season, because this was in March of 1990, so this might have been near the end of the third season. Um, but yeah, she makes a cameo at the beginning, either being the girlfriend or of Jack Ryan, or kind of like the aunt that kind of lives there, and she only appears in one scene. I'm like, wait, is that Beverly Crusher? And then, oh, she's gone. And I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird. She just like came in and out, just said, okay, bye, and I'm like, all right, why? Uh, um, I just really wish that she had a bigger role in the film, but that's just me. Um, but um, uh, so so yeah, that really talks about all the cast members. So favorite scenes, which I have a ton, cause I can literally name this whole movie as my favorite scene. Um, but I know I can only pick like a few. So just for I'm just gonna say it. The final like fight sequence, because there's a crew member that tries to shoot Marcus, or no, Ramus, sorry, and Borodin steps in and takes the shots, and he tragically dies. And so both Marcus and I keep on saying Marcus, um, mixing his first name with his last name. Ramus and Ryan go to try and stop him. Ramus gets shot in the shoulder, but he's fine apparently. Apparently, because I guess Borodin took like 3 or 4 shots to the chest, while Ramus took 1 shot to the shoulder. Um, but um, so yeah, he gets shot on the shoulder, and then basically this is Alec Baldwin's like big action scene, and it's the best scene in the whole film for me because it's like this is like so intense. Like you want Jack Ryan to save the day, but like do you want him to like at the same time? So it's like I mean eventually you want to because Re- like Ramus is like just trying to defect, and then all of a sudden you just have a man just trying to shoot you in the back. Um, so yeah, um, she, not she, Ryan comes up to him and he's like has like the fuse or like he has like wires and he's like about to like hit it so that like I guess the whole thing can explode. And Ryan just shoots him. Like he like moves it like slightly and just bang bang bang, you're dead. Um, but that was awesome. And then they also have to try and avoid the submarine, like the missile that was coming towards them from like another Russian ship. Um, and I think that's like my favorite scene in the whole film. Um, this was surprisingly way shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was like around like 2 hours long, but no, this is apparently like an hour and 20, an hour 30. Let me check. 135 minutes long. See, like just over like actually, yeah, that is like that's like just over like 2 hours. Like that's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. But yeah, I thought this movie was like 2.5 hours, but no, it kind of just went along at a breakneck pace, and I'm like, okay, this is a lot more faster than I thought it was going to be. Um, and then we have the composer, which is the fantastic Basil Portoris, who did the scores for Conan the Barbarian, and I believe its sequel, RoboCop, um, and I keep and Starship Troopers, which ironically is actually so both so you did an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, a Cold War movie, and then two movies with uh Paul McTiernan, who actually directed which was episode 8 of the review series, I believe, and that was Total Recall. Um, but yeah, Paul Verhoeven. Um, but uh, yeah, his score for this movie is very suspenseful, and I love it. I don't think it's been given a proper re-release since like around 1990, 1991. I believe it's on digital platforms. I'm not really sure about that. Um, eh. But uh, actually, let me. Never mind. Um, I believe it might be on digital platforms. I'm not sure, but the original, I don't think it has been getting it has gone a re-release. Um, but I believe it's most likely on digital platforms. I'm sure of it. Um, but if you ever get the chance, really do listen to the score. It's one of the most suspense. I think this is. I mean, granted, usually soundtracks for movies work better in a movie, and this is kind of one of them. But maybe like one or two tracks. If you actually listen to them by itself, it's very good. And if you find it somewhere, I would recommend getting it. Um, but um, as the soundtrack per se, I don't think it really works by itself. I think it just really works with the film. But if you um, if you want to listen to the score by itself, I believe it is on digital platforms. We do have to kind of like look up and stuff. Um, in terms of home media releases, um, it did have like a 2010 Blu-ray release, and obviously to commemorate the 30th anniversary for this film, the Best Buy did have an exclusive 4K steelbook, which is currently the version that I have right now, because I wasn't able to find it actually anywhere on Blu-ray. Um, that was like in good condition and for a good price, like around the $10 or something. Um, but luckily I was able to get this 4K of the film. So there's the front, spine, and the back, and it's a whole bunch of Russian, and then uh, you look inside, because I already used the digital code. Um, but that's the 4K, and then this is the Blu-ray, and I'll check to see. 2008. Um, so yeah. Um, so do I recommend this film? Absolutely. Um, do I think that this is a movie that you could put on at any time? Most likely not. You just have to be in like the right mood to watch this movie. Um, but if you ever get the chance, do watch this movie on, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever is the most convenient for you. Do watch this movie. Um, and I'm gonna give this film a 9 out of 10. It's a nearly perfect movie with a couple of minor issues that I have. In particular, the kind of um, there's a scene where like Jack Ryan along with Admiral Greer are in a meeting, and the head like once Ryan realizes something, he the main head is like, do you have something to share, Mr. Ryan? And he says like blah 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 blah, and then immediately, or like few people are like, well, you know, how you gonna do this, or like they're kind of doubting him, but then immediately the main guy says like, okay, may everyone excuse us, or everyone is excused except for you, right? And he talks to him and goes, I don't know about this, but I'm gonna believe you for this second. For this, I'm gonna let you do this. And I'm like, that guy seemed like to agree on it very easily, and I didn't really like that. I feel like there might have been some hesitation to him, and then maybe Ryan would convince him to do it. But he seems like he just kind of just like, you know, I don't really know you, but I'm gonna let you do this anyway. I don't know. I just feel like that could have been helped on a lot better. But besides that, this is a near perfect movie. So yeah, I'm gonna give this film a 9 out of 10, and I think everyone should watch it. Um, so the whole yawning thing, which I do want to mention, um, it is, um, I did kind of make the, I did kind of reveal that, um, that like a couple weeks ago, I did have an ear infection. Um, and that's slowly been getting worse and worse to the point where I've been getting less and less sleep, to the point where like I would be waking up in the middle of the night with excruciating amount of pain in my ear. I have been trying to take care of that. So far it hasn't been working, but I am trying my very best. So, to the love of God, I hope this works and my ear will be fine and I can be, hearing through both ears. And this is not a permanent thing, but that's why I've been yawning over these last few videos, because I've been like waking up very, very, very early in the morning, like either around midnight or like last night it was around 5 a.m. in the morning. So it's been bad. But hopefully by the end of this month, I will be getting way better, and hopefully I will be doing very well. So yeah. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this review of The Hunt for Red October. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where I'm going to be talking about the 2019, I believe, 2019 film, Good Boys, which is actually my favorite movie of 2019, and I'll be I will be talking about this movie tomorrow, um, which is surprisingly actually very good. Because usually, I don't really like talking about modern movies that much. But if it's something that I actually kind of like, then I'll do it. Like this one in case. And then, The next day, I'm going to be talking about Hook, released in 1991. And then after that, it will be Heat. And then after that, I'm not really sure, but I will be planning on doing one more review after Heat. So, anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Hunt for Red October. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where I'm going to be talking about Good Boys. And have a good day, everyone. Live longer, prosper. Out.